Hi everybody, Sanibonani. Welcome to my channel. Igama lami ngoNtando Mdletshe, and on this channel sifunde iy'ncwadi ey'bhalwe ngolimi lwethu lwesiZulu bese siza la sokhuluma ngazo. Ley'ndaba esisuke siy'fundile sixoxela laba phela abasuke bengenaso isikhathi sokuthi bay'funde iy'ncwadi, nalabo futhi abasuke nje benqena ukufunda. Siyaphinda futhi sibuka ama-reality shows ethu ala eMzansi bese siza la sizokhuluma ngawo lawo ma-shows, senze ama-reviews, ama-recaps, siphinde futhi sikhulume ngamanye ama-issues asuke evelile ngenkathi siwabuka lama-shows kwi-TV. Uma ngabe uyaqala ukusijoyina namhlanje ungakhohlwa ukuthi upresse ibhathini elibhalwe u-subscribe ukuze phela ukwazi ukuthi ube omunye wabantu abayibukayo le channel. Uphinde futhi upress i-notification bell ukuze uthole umyalezo uma ngabe umsebenzi omusha sesiwufakile. Kodwa-ke loko ukwenze uma ngabe uyawuthanda ilokhuzana i-content yale channel. Namhlanje na ngifuna ukwenzela i-review ye-show i-The Ranakas, what took place kwi-episode ya-last night ye-The Ranakas. Now, this week we are watching episode 3. And guys, just like episode 2, there was no drama. But I'll talk about my reasons of what's any drama ingabi khona in another video, and I will talk about why I think what was the reason for that drama in the first place, and why I think now we are getting a calm show, calm episodes. Almost boring for other people because masibuka either Ranakas silindele ukuthi something is gonna happen laphayana, especially makuvele uDineo. And this time kuyovele wangenza any drama. But mangabe iqala nje episode we get laphayana Michelle with her husband uMzingisi. They talking about ukuthi and how was uMzingisi is asking us how was the hangout with uDineo. Remember last episode Michelle was hanging out with uDineo while Dineo was singing, was singing iy'mpahla leziyana zokuthi uyokwenza umcimbi laphayana okuphuma kwintwaso. So uyasho-ke lana uMzingisi ukuthi uDineo ke wamfonela, and as usual ke ubengena iy'ndaba engezona ezakhe. But Michelle is like almost defending uDineo ngoba uthi no, she wasn't mangling really. I felt like she was concerned. Besibuza nje about how we're doing, especially with my younger brother, ukuthi senzani, especially since my mom passed away, umama kaMichelle. And they really go deep with that conversation with Mzingisi. I guess this season is the season we learn a little bit more about family kaMichelle, inkosikazi kaMzingisi. She says ukuthi uma wakho ugule for a very long time, and apparently she had already met Mzingisi, and she took him as bemthatha njengengane yakhe, like her son. And he was part of taking care of Mama Michelle, and they talk about having to massage her legs because apparently, even though they don't say what she was suffering from, but Michelle, she suffered from different things. So even Mzingisi talked about one day he was massaging her legs because they had to wrap her legs. And he says one day Michelle ephumile endlini, she said she asked Michelle asked uMzingisi ukuthi uMzingisi must take care of Michelle kanye no younger brother ka Michelle. I do not know how young Michelle's brother was, but it sounds like he was very young because Michelle concerned ngaye ukuthi he's the one that doesn't really know much about their mom, and they have had to raise him. It sounds like nakhona they've had a rift between yena and nomalume bakhe and other family members because of her mother's death. She says part of it, she has times when she blames herself for ukudlula kama wakhe emhlabeni. So angazi ukuthi in what way, what would make her feel like she's responsible, but she does say that sometimes she is responsible. And they get very emotional talking about her. It looks like it was somebody that they loved very much, that they valued very much in their lives, because they end up emotional and they end up crying. And then she does say, Lokuzana, Michelle goes, no, but Udineo was just saying, I'm very lucky that I have you. I feel like Mzingisi has taken the responsibility not only for Michelle, but also for brother. Michelle. Uh, and so iyaqhubeka conversation, and then it gets to a point where Mzingisi says ukuthi he feels like he needs to back up a little bit, take a step back when it comes to healing Michelle and her younger brother, because he feels like it's their healing and they need to do certain things on their own and do them independently of him. And leyo nto leyo yangisurprise because that was the advice that Udineo was giving to Umzingisi. But Umzingisi at the time, last episode, was not receptive of Ilokozani advice. He sounded like he's not interested kuma advice kaDineo, but nangu ke seyithatha advice because he said exactly what Udineo had advised him to do when it comes to Michelle. You need to make sure they don't depend on you like 100%. Give them space to do things independently and to be able to take care of themselves. Uyasho Michelle ukuthi at times she does feel like she has dealt with her mother's death, but at times she feels like she's just had to move on with life without really going deep into dealing with it. But she does feel like she wants to deal with it once and for all because she does have umntwana and she doesn't want to raise umntwana being angry at the world because of her mother's death, which totally made sense to me. So yeah, that was the conversation. I think it was more about us getting to know Michelle a little bit more, getting to know about her family. I think the scene was also about their relationship with Mzingisi. We got to know what they've known each other that long that he was even there before the mother passed, and in fact, the mother knew him. We got to know that. So and we don't get a lot of like serious conversations with Michelle and Umzingisi. Sometimes the show focuses more on the sisters than the brothers. So I really like that about this episode. We got to know them a little bit more. I wish we saw their baby this season, but we don't. I think one thing that the Ranakas are doing, which is very good, is that the younger children are not really on the show. When they're on the show, it's like at a distance. Maybe they're playing there, but they don't you never see them do the interviews with the kids like they do Butano Temple. Like the younger kids, sometimes they do just a short interview, and then no, they don't. So it's almost like they wait for children to be grown ups before they are actively involved in the show. So I like that about that show because these kids are young, they still go to school, and when negative things happen on the show and they've been seen on TV, it's hard to protect them and protect their privacy. So I think it's a good decision to do that. When they're younger, there's really no need. A show can take place without the younger kids, so there's really no need for them to be that much on camera. So I like that decision that the Ranakas have made. I don't know if it's just a coincidence or they really actively made that decision, but I like it anyway. So the next scene, you get Ugogo. Hey, that family is so like it's like four generations of women in this family that are still alive. I so like that they have Ugogo. I so wish any one of my grandmothers was still alive. Like I don't have any experience when it comes to having a relationship with Ugogo because all of my grandmothers passed when I was very young. I don't remember conversations or anything like that. So I really love that they have that kaRanaka. So uyovakasha kaRanaka. Uyovakasha kaRanaka ugogo. I know ukuthi kwaku-first season when they explain indaba yini ngathi ugogo unendlu yakhe ahlala kuyona, and then she has another house, and then in this house that's where uLokhuzana, the younger brother, stays, uRanaka. That's where he stays. And ugogo has given that house to uRanaka ukuthi ahlale kuyona. So bewubona ngoba uthi ever since esehlala kuyona le ndlu akasamfoneli akasanjani. Remember ukuthi kuqala ubehlala nogogo uRanaka. So ufuna ukuyobona ukuthi kuhamba kanjani endlini. It looked okay indlu, even though he did mention he still needs to do some work endlini, paint the roof. It does look like it's an oldish house, but it looks decent enough ukuthi umuntu angahlala kuyona. Couches, they look old, but uyahlala kuwona. Ugogo asked something about uRanaka waiting for a ship. I didn't know ukuthi usebenza emkhunjini, so he's waiting for a call ngoba kuzofanele ayosebenza emkhunjini. I thought ukuthi uRanaka akasebenzi, but yeah, he said ukuthi he's waiting for a call ukuze akwazi ukuya emsebenzini. They talk about the house. Ugogo wanted to help with the tiles, pants and whatnot, and Uranek was like, "No, Gogo, I want to do it on my own." As indlela yoku-appreciate ukuthi she let him stay le he wants to do it himself ukuthi ayifixile, and he says ukuthi he wants ukuthi one day when he leaves the house, one of the other grandchildren be able to use the house number when they need a place to stay. I really think it's a good idea when a family has a place where when somebody is not really doing that well in life and they just need a little bit of support. That's why we have homes where grandmothers stay, where everybody, when you are down and out or whatever, you go and you live at home for a while, and then once you are okay, you move out on your own. So I really think it's great for families to have that. So he says because he wants to fix it so that the other kids as well, when they find themselves needing a place to stay, they will find that place nicer than he found it. So, which is great, and it also for him to show his appreciation for Gogo. I like a relationship with Gogo no Ranaga. Clearly, Ranaga is like the favorite to Gogo. He is the last born, so he would make sense because he's the favorite, and he also has stayed with the Gogo, I think, for the longest time. So it makes sense. Remember, because they would have conflicts, so I think it makes sense. So I love that. I love that relationship. Oh yes, I forgot. Phela ugogo ubone lawo ma-heel. Ubone leziya y'cathulo leziyana zama-heel. I was trying to imagine ukuthi konje what kind of women were those? You can predict ukuthi unjani umuntu wesifazane by seeing their shoes. I felt like it's an older woman than Uranaka. When I looked at those shoes, I was like, is having an older woman as a girlfriend here, but yeah, ugogo was curious because akwabani la mahili la. Honestly, I feel like that was a setup in the mahili because if you go number one, if the cameras are coming, you're going to tidy up and you're not gonna have iy'cathulo in the middle of a dining room nje zihleli laphayana. You're gonna take them off camera in. I feel like the effect that they were there, it was just a way to create maybe possible drama with the grandmother or just possible joke with the grandmother. So I really think they put them there on purpose. Maybe they were there, and then when the producers came, they were like, "No, just leave them there." I think it's a good prop for Ilokuzan scene. So yeah, that was it. But yeah, he has a girlfriend, obviously. I don't think we've seen him on the show. We've seen her on the show. Have you seen her? Because I haven't seen her. But yeah, he does have a girlfriend. Hopefully, we'll meet her one day. I hope she's ready for the drama Yagaranak. uh, so now we go to Bryanstein. Bryanstein. Oh, hey, I really love these two girls. It really like, you know, I don't want to say it, and it's like ilingane lezi zone zakaranaka, but ngathi akuzona ezakaranaka. Part of who they are, you can see ukuthi abakaranaka, but the way that they are so calm, leza ingane leziyana, uthando beno-KG, u-KG bahuma katlego. Katlego ne, uhuma u-KG. So ulo uthando no-KG, the way they are so calm. Maybe because they grew up in emsindweni laphayana, so they got to be calm. Kuba nalokho silingane lezi ngathi zizalwa abanye abantu because mabazi i-drama. But also they went for a radio station, they say it's a women's radio station, and they do a show together. I was like, wow, that is so great. I didn't know that. So they do a show together. And today they were talking about, they talk about childhood traumas, which is such an important topic and issue that it's important to discuss even with the kids, and they're talking about how important it is because if you don't deal with your childhood traumas, it can affect your relationships, all kinds of relationships with men, relationships with friends, relationships with family members. And I agree with that. Honestly, there's things that you have to deal with when it comes to your childhood for you to be able to move on with your life. They talk about the absence of their fathers in their lives, and was it KG who talks about the fact that how it would affect her during Father's Day when they, it's called and they would do cards, And for some reason, it is never really considered they golden because there's kids that don't have fathers around. And I don't know how else schools could do that so that the other kids don't feel left out and or are not reminded of the fact that they really don't have fathers. Maybe their Father's Day things should just not be done in schools, honestly, because as much as it's fun for the kids that have fathers, but for the kids that don't, it's another experience. So she's saying that it would just she will feel the most empty when it's when they are doing those exercises, doing the cards and doing whatever for the fathers. And then Uthando said her experience was a little bit different when it comes to my issues with Father's Day and all of that because she says then even though her father was not around, but her biological father was not around, she did have a father. Remember, she had a stepfather. She did have a father. So when they would do these cards at school, she knew what she was going to give it to her stepfather. But she says that, but it still affected her in Baba because she will see her siblings with their biological father and the relationship that they have, and it would just affect her to think what really how it would really be like for her to have the same relationship with her biological father. So it really sounds like they really have a great show in that radio station. It's something that I honestly would listen to, and it does have a feel of a show being done by very young people. And I think that it would be great. Honestly, I don't know if I can get that station in KZN, but I'm gonna look for it and see if I can listen to it because I think they do talk about great. Just from listening to that one show, I thought they talk about really great stuff. I love the relationship with KG Notando. It's always great for cousins to be that close. It's almost like they're sisters, and they are sisters. Teen up like people, your aunt's children are your sisters. So yeah, but I really loved that. I thought they had a great show. And then we go to Limpopo. You know, Limpopo, hayi bo, abantu baseLimpopo bazongishaya bathi thina sithi iLimpopo. Kanti iLimpopo. Hayi guys, akupronounce-eki into enjalo eKZN isixolele. Into ethi Limpopo ayishokeki ngesiZulu, iLimpopo. You will also just forgive me, it's Limpopo in KZN. Limpopo is Limpopo in Zulu, let's say that. So they're going to Limpopo because uDineo uyophuma entwasweni. Hey guys, angazi lutho ngentwaso. But mina ngazi ukuthi umuntu uma uthwasa uyahamba uyohlala ekuthwasweni. Uhlale until isikhathi sokuphuma entwasweni. Then wenzele umcimbi uphume entwasweni. But uDineo was at home and then went to and then now uyaphuma. Angazi ukuthi kwenziwa kanjani. So bayile as a family, ugogo is there. I saw the kids are there. Ugogo nomama. Was the dad there? I didn't. Angisazi noma ubaba bekhona yini, but I didn't see the sisters. Kuphekwa utshwala, kuyasindwa, kancane kusindwa phansi ngobulongo. Hayibo eLimpopo niyasinda outside egcekeni, namanona. Amanono kusindwa egcekeni. I thought bayosinda endlini. No, besinda egcekeni ngobulongo. I like ukuthi uMakadineo noGogade, even though they are not from there, but they didn't act like siphume so and so, they were there, bagovuza omabhoda utshwala, and it looked like it was hot. Bekubukeka ngathi kuyashisa, basho nabo ukuthi kuyashisa, makusindwa nabo babasinda. So they are preparing for ilokhuzana. They are preparing uyasho uMadineo ukuthi they were just there to help iy'ngane zabo. Whether they believe in what the kids are doing or not, because the other parents were there as well. They are believing what the kids are doing or not. They were just there to support and to help out. Babavusa ekuseni ngathi kufanele bavuke benzeni and kufanele kuphekwe, kufanele kwenziweni, kufanele kuklinwe everything because baprepare lo mcimbi lo kaDineo. And bayasho nayo uMadineo ukuthi she liked being there because it made you humble. Vele when they were showing it just show yabona ayikho khona iy'ndawo that you can't be kuzona ube usitshuzi uqhenye ufake amahili ungafuni. Khona nje indawo evele ikuhambilishe nje uvele ubone ukuthi okay, angikhumule lana ngifake ophaqe ngivele ngihambe ngey'nyawo ngivele ilona ngivele ngikhumbula ubra or something. Khona iy'ndawo ey'nja, leya ndawo is like that. Even her grandmother was saying ukuthi how beautiful it is. Vele ke Limpopo baye bathi it's beautiful. I haven't been there actually. I would like to go and see. She says the trees. Anyway, uma usendaweni ekanje and you usually umuntu ohlala elokishini vele vele kube extra beautiful, and she says it's very nice. But it looks like they were having a good experience there. There was a lot of laughter. We didn't see a lot of udineo. We didn't see a lot of udineo in this episode. But I just like because we're getting a little bit more calm in this show, but it doesn't mean there isn't any insignificance to the dramas that we have received in the show. I like in a show he's sort of focusing on the kids as well, and that is such a wise decision because then it show has it's possible for it to continue even when the other adults, because they might do a show for so long and decide that in the future they don't want to do it, and the kids might get a spin-off, or they might continue with the Ranakas and focusing more on the kids. So I think it's such a good move for a show to focus on the kids instead of just doing the adults. Also, it also just helps them to have more people to focus on rather than just the sisters. So if they besuka maconsi and they don't want to shoot, then they do have other people to shoot. It looks like Ukoko is always game to shoot. It looks like Mama is always game. It looks like Ubaba is always game to shoot. The kids, it's like they're still excited about being in the limelight, so they're always going to be willing to shoot. So if the other cast members are busy, they're always gonna have them. So they're always gonna be able to put together the episode. So that was the episode for today, guys. There was no drama again this episode, but it was a nice episode. It was a chill episode to watch. But ke guys, ningakhohlwa ukuthi ni-like i-video before niphume kuyona. It really indicates to YouTube if people like your work, and also comment below, even if you just say hi and tell me where you're from, and share the video with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers. Nginithanda kakhulu.